Vodafone presents the pre-match.
A very warm welcome back to the canal city of Hamburg. Once more, our second time here over the last 12 months. Fantastic to be back in this wonderful German city. We're about to kick off our first day here for ESL One Hamburg, and my goodness, it's a good one to start things off. Secret versus Evil Geniuses, and I'm sure it's just going to get better and better through the tournament, but what a great way to start things off. We're back in our panel once more with Trent and Purge as well. Gents, so great way to start.
Yeah, it's beautiful here. That big harbor with like the fountain going.
You like Hamburg?
On the way here. Yeah, Hamburg's nice. First
nice
time
city, isn't
here.
it?
Yeah, based in downtown.
Yeah. Is that your first time here, is it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
He's like,
Yeah. You know, you get around a little bit.
Well, I might have been here before, I can't remember.
I have not. This is my first time, and I remember getting close to our hotel and then finally passing a building and just seeing like 4 steeples that all looked really cool.
Yeah,
it's the history of Europe, basically. It's much more advanced than America.
I know,
Yeah,
they have
we're
like
a bit older.
the buildings are like, you know, oh, this church is 1400 years old. I'm like, oh, interesting.
Only 1400.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not many of those over
Yeah,
in Canada or
No,
anything,
quite.
you know?
Let's talk Dota, gents, and start with Team Secret. They've made 2 changes, Kevin, to this lineup. I mean, I guess in one way, Zai's a known quantity. He's played with the team before. Puppy knows him well. He's a high-quality player. As I think we were arguing last season as to whether he was a better 3 or a better 4, but by the by, he's a good 3, and he fits in the team. Nisha is probably the guy that most people will talk about. Come out of Kingwin, wasn't necessarily a big star on the rise, and here he is replacing Ace. And I guess the first question is it an upgrade or a downgrade?
Yeah, so history of Secret basically is the carries always get a little left behind, is what it kind of seems like. MP always looked like he was kind of underperforming, and Envy at times did as well. I think it's just because their playstyle kind of lets their cores become self-sacrificial, but watching some of the replays, it seemed like Nisha's a little different. They actually pick him very good hero variety. He doesn't just fit into some kind of like weird carry fit like Ace did a lot of the times, and he can play hard carries, and sometimes he plays mid as well. I think he's better hard carry maybe, and he does seem a little flustered sometimes when he gets behind, which is maybe a sign of an experienced player, but he definitely fits in the team well for now, and we'll see if it solidifies under that kind of same playstyle.
Historically, Trent, they always start well, it seems, the seasons. They started last year's DPC very quickly, looked like a really good team early on. They've done the same thing again here, already winning at PvP.
Yeah, pretty exciting too.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about, Kevin said lands where it counts, you've said lands where it counts. Well, they've already done it on land this season since TI, so presumably another good start.
Yeah, and I actually think Fnatic, having one of their former players, he said an MP, I think Fnatic looks very strong. I think they're one of like the best teams that's out there too, so I think the fact that they took them, I mean, it took 5 games, but Secret still took it, so solid way to start off the year for them. And I am looking forward to seeing just more of Nisha, because followed him quite a bit when he's on Kingwin. Very solid player, and I love the way that I feel like they're more comfortable giving him some of these harder carry roles when lets mid one be more of like this play-by-play, or like playmaker, I should say, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cap. But he's like going around and like actually being involved early on in team fights, and I feel like that's when mid one's been at its strongest, and like very early Ember playing aggressively or Bloodseeker playing aggressively. So it's an exciting Team Secret to watch.
Their opponents in this first game, Evil Geniuses, I guess they've already gone through their roster shuffle earlier in the year because they didn't want to change in between TI and now, so they made their change before TI. As we well know, it's been well documented. It's been called all sorts of different names. Bottom line is that was a better team, and they proved that at TI by finishing in the top 3 with Fly and S4 on that team. They've got one issue here, if anything, and that's the fact that they couldn't get Samael here.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough for them, but I mean, I think I know, Trent, you said earlier that you didn't think the teams are going to fully put all their effort in right now, but I think this is like the crunch period. Like, I think this tournament is really important because it is prep for the major, which is not very far away. So it is a strategy prep, it is team cohesion prep, and EG's going to be losing out on that fully at least. But maybe they can learn some new things, get some good meta understanding. They've got a very dedicated coach that's going to be able to pick up those pieces really well and try to make it into some cool strategies. So I think they've got some good stuff going for them, but it might be hard for them to take it to a cohesive team that's already won a LAN.
Best of 2, of course, and we'll get both games regardless of the score in the first game. Let's take a look at the head-to-head. These guys have picked out 2 very interesting players, actually. One on EG's Arteezy, and Nisha on the other side for Secret. New versus old in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, Nisha being brought in as this guy who's like basically supposed to replace Ace, and yeah, it's kind of a certain idea, at least that's what we thought, coming to Secret. And I don't know, it harkened back a little bit to the old days, like this Arteezy guy coming in, having a lot of expectations. Of course, Arteezy was much more popular at the time when he was brought in, but he's the old guy now. So Arteezy, he's been around. Yeah, he's a veteran player, which feels kind of odd, but I mean, he definitely is.
I thought the interesting stats was that Arteezy's farm distribution was higher, but his damage dealt and his kill participation was lower. So, but that kind of reflects from what EG style normally is, which is like every core takes a lane and they just kind of death push, and then they leave and go to the other one, and they play very separate. So, it'd be interesting to see if EG kind of sticks to that same thing. I don't know if they've done it as much with S4 and Fly joining, but. Yeah, maybe it'll be different. Maybe Arteezy will take even harder carries this game because they have a different player in the mid lane. I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting to see how they adapt to their swap today.
What's the dynamic in EG now that S4 is there? Is he the reason that the other two cores can play as well, and he enables Samael and Arteezy to have the farm that they want? Because it feels like every team he goes to, he improves. And I'm talking S4 here.
I mean, he's got to be one of the best players of all time. It's safe to say. Like, if you think about how many years the guy's been on top of, like nobody would ever. I don't think anyone would ever say like S4 is not a tier 1 of whatever role he plays. He's consistently been in that conversation since TI3. That's 5 years.
Here's what I'd say. Where's the rest of Alliance from that year? Where's the rest of TI3 Alliance?
Bulldog's picking up runes.
They're just gone.
Loda's
I think
coaching.
that says quite a bit about S4. I feel like
Era's coaching.
Yeah, he's just a fantastic player. Like he's still got it. You know what I mean? Like to still be playing like such an insanely high level, it just really shows what he can bring to a team. And you've heard several teams talk about just like the communication and the experience that he brings. Like, I would want him.
Yeah, I would want him. He'd be on my fantasy team as well. Let's get into the draft because I'm hearing the gents are ready to get underway. In fact, they are already underway, so we'll drop you into the draft. A quick reminder for you, if you see anything quick in here, we've got the Play Faster moment by Vodafone coming up at the end of the day, so make sure you tweet us or message us on Facebook and let us know what you think's been a quick play. Draft, as you can see, is on your screen. Gents, let's turn our attention to hero picks. We were talking yesterday in the green room, and just messing around with what would be the most popular pick, what would be the surprise pick. Gents, do you want to talk about yours?
I chose Ogre as my strongest, I believe. I know, but here's the thing. He's boring to watch, but just go play 2 games of Ogre and you'll just like, yeah, I get it. He's so fun.
I'm playing a lot of Ogre 5.
Oh, he's so fun. God, what a glorious hero.
It helps a lot that people change the skill build. Now they're maxing Fire Blast. So it's like by the time you hit 6, you actually do like a lot of damage.
And
if
it's
you
like
get
fun.
The multis. Yeah, it's like a 60% chance. You're going to multicast, so you don't have to like gamble as much though.
Yeah, both of you picked Ogre as your most popular.
Oh, nice.
So your Ogre buddies. I feel like your Ogre, if
that's good, yeah.
To get
Am I the dumb head or the smart head?
What? I don't know.
Which one is the dumb head? Aren't they both a little, I like the guy with the cap. I feel like he's got it going on.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is... No, actually, it's not good news because they hate each other. That doesn't work. Your surprise picks were Dazzle and Night Stalker.
Yeah, I think
Dazzle. Really?
Night Stalker, yeah, that one was weird.
You said surprise.
That was a shot out of nowhere, basically.
Did you just go... Night Stalker? Is that what you did?
Well,
that kind of... I mean, it would be a bloody surprise,
some pretty
that's
fun
for sure.
games with Moo playing it for J Storm, and it was interesting. I thought it was intriguing, so I thought maybe we'll get the old Night Stalker showing up a few times.
We have a first pick on the board, and it's a Wisp. I can't tell you which way around it is right now, because unfortunately...
It is probably what a gyro.
I think it's got to be an EG pick, isn't it? We're trying to find out.
So that is EG with the IO.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Okay, so
IO
they've
gyro.
gone with IO gyro, yeah.
Which is basically the primary way that people play IO right now, and also the primary way that they play gyro as well. It's like they don't really exclude the opposite 2 heroes. This was very popular at TI. The Chinese teams did this best, LGD especially. They get a lot more farm than usual, and they abuse the talents to make to give gyro free ags, basically.
I'll tell you who said AA would be a surprise popular pick was Kyle.
He's been looking okay as of late. I think C's been picking it a little bit. It's just like other 5s are, I don't know, there's only so many requirements you have. I assume Wyvern is nerfed in that, or Wyvern is banned in that slot because for someone to take IO,
spot, yes, you'd imagine.
There's a black slot, so I'm just going to assume that's Wyvern.
So what about the Enigma though? I just assumed Enigma was in the first 3, and it was just like a bugged overlay. That was my impression.
That's a good question. That's probably correct.
It was like Morph Root Enigma. It's like, why would...
We'll fix that in post.
Okay, sounds good.
I hope not.
It's a little bit of a mystery.
Confusing. It makes it more fun.
So I think there's a couple things that have developed so far in this meta. One of them is that Enigma is generally used to kind of share the load of the weaker position 4s, people who can't have much of an impact in the lane. So the whole idea is the Enigma, by denying one of the creeps with the Eidolons, not only can he help pressure for last hits and denies, but that's always pulling the wave back, and then that just gives easier experience in gold to a more vulnerable position 4, like Earth Spirit's been one of the best examples.
No surprise to see see the Drow ban, but perhaps a little surprising that it was Secret that banned it, because they've been playing it an awful lot.
Yes, they
so is
do
EG,
ban
though.
it if they're not first phase, though.
Yeah.
And EG, that was like one of the heroes they've been very happy to abuse. I've been doing that for many tournaments, doing these like Drow push strats with Visage or whatever.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I think the reason that Kyle predicted Visage, or sorry, AA to become kind of strong was we were talking about Daz all the time. He's like, oh, it counters the heals, right? But that also works amazing against like Io Gyro as well. So
Necrophos is one of the most popular heroes still.
that's true. Yes, just a lot of powerful heals right now, and sometimes it takes too long to pick up your Spirit Vessel. It's just better to have a hero ready to go right away.
The Weaver ban is not surprising. That has been on the rise.
Yeah, I will say he seems to have fallen off a little bit too. Just like teams not as willing to go for him since a couple of the nerfs. He still has the XP talent at 10, which seems to be enough to just keep him in play, I feel like.
Yeah,
that's the difference maker.
Mineski's still picking. It does seem to be SEA related, though, I would have to say.
He's just a good hero. Like the Sakuchi mana nerf was a little rough at times in the laning stage, but past that he's still good later.
Sent off Secret. They've also banned out the Axe, which Trent, I know you've had some choice words about.
Oh yeah, I mean Axe. I don't know how much we're going to see with the whole creep cutting thing. I do think Axe is insanely strong right now, so likely to see him quite a bit. But the Centaur, this is really nice because Axe is very good with IO +1 lineups because he can like roam around the map and set up easy calls for relocates. But Centaur is also insane because of the whole way that damage reduction stacks. We saw OG abuse that at TI with the Aghanim Scepter. It's like a flat stack, so in combination with a tether, the hero's taking like no damage. So they take that for themselves and don't allow EG to get it.
And they also have a weak support with AA, so if he's up against an Axe in lane, he can't do very much to lane against him, really. So I think it's a very smart ban.
Bane 3G.
The most paired hero with IO, I believe, at this point. IO, Tiny, and Bane, just one of the most iconic trios of Dota for like 3 years. But at this point, most teams just will not get a Bane in the second phase. So you can see there was some pressure to ban a couple other heroes there. And that helps slip the Bane through for them. So he does the exact same thing. He wanders around the map, he nightmares somebody, and in comes the backup.
And he also stabilizes your other lane too, because IO sometimes has a little trouble. Like you've got lots of regen, but you don't really have the most kill potential, whereas Bane can almost always win your lanes and set you up kills. And give you some of that team fight control going into the late game that you'll never have. It does seem like Centaur kind of just got really strong all of a sudden. Like when OG was picking them at TI, and they picked them many times and even lost some games where it was just like, why are they picking Centaur carry? This seems stupid, right? But now we're 2 months later, the hero hasn't been buffed or nerfed, and he just seems like the pick.
Yeah.
It's interesting how that's changed.
Probably like one of the most standard offlaners that we have at the moment. And that was something that they were playing for a long time too, so it seems like it was kind of maybe an idea from like Seb or something that, because like S4 played it a bunch when he was still even on OG, I remember.
That's true.
Yeah, I can tell you without any secrets now because TI's finished and I was only sworn to secrecy then. The Axe and the Centaur were both Mad's ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a lane winner, right? It does damage just by being there. You buy a Vanguard, and then you're dealing damage and outlaning them just by standing there. And then it also transitions to really good ganking and team fighting. You just have to get from that like regen item to the Blink Dagger. And even I watched a replay the last night of Secret picking Axe support, which is sometimes done now. And the way he played it was pretty interesting. Just like blinks and calls, and just runs away instantly because it's a 3-second disable on a 10-second cooldown.
He's
so
riding.
It's amazing, like how much. And that goes through BKB as well, so it's kind of amazing how many times you can disable that alone, and it's like your Axe is worth it.
Tough call there for Secret just as to what was going to happen with that pick, because they obviously are going to get to see what EG have, so they want to keep things a little bit open, and they go back for the Ogre. So that's likely going to mean AA support as well as the Ogre.
Shaker
actually,
offlane?
that's not for sure. There's a lot of questions. This could be pretty much anything. We could have a core AA theoretically, and the mid lane isn't completely out there. It could end up being the mid Earthshaker as well, depending on the matchup the EG show, because that was something that mid one played quite a bit too, I believe.
Yeah, that's really true.
When no one was doing it too, so.
I mean, Ogre offlane seems to be more popular, but it's also 5. I don't know, it goes back and forth. It's definitely better than it used to be. Ogre offlane, just because cores are a little bit weaker and people just abuse his survivability well. This is a really cool way to deal with the heavy tankiness that Secret has, is that you just amplify the damage with sticking Napalm, and against the weak disables of like AA, Batrider's great. He can basically do whatever he wants. He's gonna get slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets cold feeded if he doesn't do well enough, but
It also removes a lot of the flexibility they built in their draft too, because with Batrider, there's certain heroes you essentially have to pick. You either want this like Juggernaut, used to be a classic, Slark, Phantom Lancer, someone that can deal with this sticky napalm in lane. The PL's already banned out, and Weaver's banned out too, who's another very good hero to handle it. So it's like they had all this flexibility, and now it's almost like a Brood game where like you're forced into a certain pick. So you're like, okay, well now we need to do something with the Brood lane. Like now we have to do something with the Bat lane.
But it doesn't feel as dirty.
No,
you know, because it's like, oh, Bat does other things, right? Very good initiator in the late game is another way to set up IO relocate ganks. So I definitely like the pick from EG here. It's really smart.
I will say a problem I would have is that the IO Gyro tends to take a little bit to come online. Like I feel like they want to be in the jungle a lot. They want to be hitting up ancient stacks for a long time into like the first like 20 minutes of the game. And who's going to be really like enabling this Batrider at that time? Bane isn't like the best burst to like run around with a lasso or something. So I feel like they need a very active hero here last for EG. Something like I mean, it looks like they banned out the Venomancer there, but something like Alina that doesn't have to worry about a lot of matchups.
I would agree if Secret wasn't just like raw HP and armor, because like Rocket Barrage is a shitload of damage, and it's not, you don't get the flat cannon talent at 15 anymore.
Right.
So it's either homing missile or more Rocket Barrage damage. It does 900 damage every like 5.5 seconds. It's ridiculous magic wise. So like you can easily deal with like a disabled Earthshaker or a disabled Ogre. You can kill those guys at least until they buy a potential hood.
Sorry, I forgot CC&C standing in here, so it's going to be Dragon Knight as the last bit here for Evil Geniuses.
What about the Lina for Secret?
What are they missing?
Kind of vulnerable, I guess. I don't know if I would say it's good against Gyro IO.
It would let them hit towers, which would be kind of nice.
That's what Centaur's for.
He just kind of stands there.
Well, not hit, get hit by towers.
Yeah.
And
so Shaker mid versus DK potentially. Now the DK's been revealed, and they can just be like, okay, we can just send the AA to the safe lane, Shaker mid, and do the Centaur or the Ogre core. Probably the Centaur, obviously.
This feels okay. It's another range disable too with Lucent Beam. I mean, it's like 0.8 second stuns, but that's more than enough to set up like an Ice Blast or like another follow-up stun. So it adds a little bit of something. It can work potentially against Bat as well, because normally it's like he's just going to kill you so fast. This way, they can actually just stand and fight him with Lucent Aura and their other nukes. Like they can actually deal with him in lane, I think.
It's a big hero right now in China, that's for sure. We'll see plenty from Asta later on. Quick predictions from you.
Jeez. I mean, it's hard to know. You don't even know who's playing core on Secret. That obviously changes it quite a bit. But I feel a little comfortable with that. I feel like they let the IO through. They had a plan. They got the A and the Shaker. So yeah, I'll take Team Secret.
Okay.
Looks all right.
I'm leaning towards Secret as well, but I do like the EG draft. I think the Batrider threw a little bit of a kink in their plans.
Okay, good stuff. Both of you going for Team Secret, it would seem then. They remain favourites in this opening game, or will it go the other way? Let's find out as we head over to our commentary team for game number 1. It's all yours, Cap and Blitz.
Thank you, Paul. That's right. One of the most iconic rivalries in Dota 2. Evil Geniuses versus Team Secret, and that's going to be our very first match of ESL One Hamburg. There is a lot of storylines between these two teams, right? You've got, starting from the beginning, you've got Alliance S4 versus Na'Vi Puppey going all the way back to TI3 days. You've got some players who have swapped rosters multiple times. You've got Zai, who has done the most so far, EG Secret, EG Secret. You've got Arteezy, who of course did EG Secret, EG. Those two have swapped up a whole bunch. You actually pointed out a storyline that probably most people don't know about, which is the tie between Zai and Crit.
Oh yeah, that so at the end of TI7, was it? Oh yeah, it was TI7. So at the end of TI7, they were planning on playing together, and then Zai was like, for the good of the team, and genuinely, I think he did it for the good of the team, because nobody had any hard feelings. Like they all tweeted each other, they still have fun. He's just like, I don't think we'd make a good combo.
Right.
Because he's like, I'm not really a 5. You're not really being utilized best as a 5. You're a 4. I'm a 4. This just probably can't work.
Right. So they actually split ways, mostly because they're too similar, right,
Yeah.
in their playstyle in that regard. And it does sound like very much a Zai. Despite how young he is, he's actually just
He's
super mature in
Yeah.
that regard, right?
That's why nobody was salty about it, because I think they all realized that they needed a captain.
Right.
And I think Artur has probably swapped the most, because this is his 3rd time on EG.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you that story? I told it on the late game show after TI when I was on it with him about what happened.
Yeah. What happened?
It was at the end of Secret TI6 where they did horribly and they were losing every single time. They got last at like every event, if you recall, and then they got last at TI. And Artur was like inconsolable. You know, he's just really upset. Felt like he let everybody down. Won't leave his room, stuff like that. And then he's planning for the future. We're not really sure. There was a few teams that he contacted about joining. Nobody was really getting back. And then Sumail texted him in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m. or something after TI had ended. And he was like, round 3? That was it? He said, round 3, question mark? Artur said, round 3, let's go. So this is round 3 of that.
And it begins. Well, unfortunately, we don't have Sumail here. We've got Stanton from Pain X CCNC.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest matches of this season.
I just realized like a lot of these guys have been on Secret.
Yeah.
S4, Fly,
Uh-huh.
Artur, they've all been on Secret. And CCNC, I think Quinn is actually a pretty good replacement. I was told he was their first choice. Actually, the first option was Crit plays mid, Bulba plays support. And Bulba was the one that...
Bulba said no to that
said,
one?
nah, that sounds terrible.
Was Vegas a trial for that? Bulba going back to playing a little bit of Dota? Decided,
nah, it was just because they didn't know about the visa thing until Friday. So
right.
it was just like, well, I mean, Crit's a pretty good mid, but what was like, I don't know if I can play 4 right now.
Looking at this matchup, we do have, it was a pretty interesting drafting phase from Team Secret. They picked up like basically 2 offlaners and 2 supports from the start, where you've got this sort of nebulous, where's Earthshaker, where's Ancient Apparition, where are these heroes going? It actually turns out to be Mid1 who's going to be playing mid Earthshaker, despite they didn't actually know what the mid matchup was until that last pick, which ends up being a Dragon Knight, which I presume is pretty favorable there for the Earthshaker.
I think it kind of works both ways because DK is probably one of the best ways to deal melee versus the Earthshaker. Almost every other hero loses because he just totems, he has that extra damage, he's going to get free denies. He has a harass mechanic built in.
Yeah.
But what DK does very well against pretty much every matchup is because of the Dragon's Blood, you don't really take that much damage. You can trade hits. The amount of sustain that you have makes DK just like an ideal sort of like trade mid laner.
It's definitely not a matchup that you were going to be expecting any kills. The Earthshaker isn't going to harass the Dragon Knight out, but you were just going to be looking at mostly CS for this mid matchup.
I think you take the DK here to pair with the IO Gyro because he's a natural pusher. He's going to push in waves by himself too, and you can connect to him really easily and transition it into taking towers, which I think Gyro IO is actually kind of bad at.
Yeah. And I think, like, as you kind of mentioned, like having a frontliner and also having kind of an initiator, that's really valued for Gyro Wisp.
Well, you want some sort of follow-up when the Batrider goes in, and you don't want to just always rely on the IO Gyro. And it is kind of nice to be able to just have the Gyro go high ground and like hit, but it's sort of annoying because at the same time you're playing against an AA Centaur, and there's a lot of burst potential.
So what do you think about this AA Centaur offlane, and then they went ahead and last picked up Nisha's hero in the Luna paired with an Ogre?
I think Centaur, I think Kyle, did he tweet it? Or he said he was going to. He says he feels like Centaur and Enigma are just both really strong heroes.
Yeah.
Like Kyle's kind of on top
he
of
did tweet about
his game right now, and I think the Centaur, what's good about it is that it's an open-ended pick. It does a lot for you. It deals with waves, it's got good catch, the talents are pretty nice, and more importantly, it's like an open-ended pick.
Yeah.
In the sense that it doesn't hard lock you into anything. Like, yeah, he's going to the off lane, but it does a little bit of everything. You can allow this guy to farm. He can have a bad laning phase because he catches up quickly.
Oh, dropping very low. S4 almost getting run down by Puppey. Now it's Puppey who has to dance out of the fire, make sure he doesn't die. S4 with the recovery salve, and we'll be able to continue the pressure onto Nisha shortly. Nisha currently sitting at a CS score of 5 and 6. So the harassment is paying off for now, as long as nobody dies on the side of Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, Luna struggling right now with CS, which is surprising just considering how little base damage Bat has. I think every single Batrider player has had the experience of playing as a Bat. So this might just be first blood here.
Yeah, it's going to get super low, and Puppey is going to be the one to secure the first blood onto S4. That isn't going to completely solve Nisha's problems as the Luna, as the Batrider's just going to come right back in, full health, full mana, and continue to be that really annoying force.
Here's the 50-50. Oh.
And Mid1 gets a regen rune. CCNC is mega triggered right now.
Yeah, he's livid.
This man, sitting with him in Las Vegas and having him just go on a long diatribe about the 50-50, especially the 4 and 6 minute bounty or regular runes, and just having something like a regen just win your laning phase as a result.
I mean, he left the lane though.
Yep.
And they also secured bottom rune, so no matter what, he was going to get the rune. So
Yeah.
I don't know how upset you can be about that.
And this is a matchup that, as we were talking about before, right, isn't going to be one of those, like, kill, harassment, force out of lane. Like, Dragonite will be okay with an Earthshaker having
I mean, it's
regen.
fine. If you see DK, he's got the most CS right now in the game, or he did before Gyro took over.
Yeah.
But-
Mid one's got a lot of denies.
Yeah,
as
you get a free
result.
one. Oh,
Centaur, early kill, crit, is going to be able to get away from that and has plenty of healing salve to work with too, so he's going to make his way back to the Gyrocopter, but top lane, Nisha gets a little bit too close to S4, is going to be run down so easily. The TP out, not successful.
just dies.
Arteezy picks up the kill on Yapzor as well. Evil Geniuses now sitting a score of 3-1.
I think Secret's lineup only works because they have an Earthshaker mid, if I'm looking at everything.
Yeah.
Because I think that you have a 4 and a 5 position that don't really... they just don't scale too well.
They're not the best team fighters. They don't start, like, they're not initiators for you. It's like no Phoenix. You
Yeah,
know?
once everybody has BKB, AA becomes like your ult, you just wait through it, and
Yeah.
like the playmaking potential isn't really there, but because you have an Earthshaker mid, I think it gets a lot better. I will also say that, oh, they actually
They're canceling
cancel.
the TP. Puppy's going to fight S4. This might be the turnaround. They need to be able to force S4 out once again. They're not going to be able to get the kill, but they'll keep him low. S4 does have the...
Oh, Yapzor though.
Yapzor trying to catch him, unable to do so. So instead, they're just going to have to go for Fly. Brain Sap as well as the Stick gets him a lot of HP as well as the Nightmare out, but the slowdown out pops Yapzor to claim the kill. Now, S4 will recover off of the Shrine.
He also switched the aggro so that the sleep went on himself so that they could get that one last illusion beam.
CCNC does manage to pick up an illusion rune.
I will say that I think that AA's talents are better than I give it credit for. Like, you know the AoE Vortex thing? Or AoE Cold Feet?
Yeah.
That is insane.
Another go here on Fly, trying to get off the Brain Sap. Nightmares himself, but still going to be locked down here. And will be able to get some HP out. Crit actually coming in with a big heal, and Yapzor is trying to TP away as he sees the Wisp, but Puppy's going to get run down. Ancient Apparition, Yapzor was able to TP back successfully. They lose one of their supports, and now it's EG who bring a tri-lane to the top lane.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty annoying for him. That's the second time he's TP'd out. It's just less time spent on the map. I think that's reflected by the fact that he's not going to be a super high level, and you're not going to see a lot of rotations, and that's why Secret this game, they're going to rely pretty heavily on mid one.
Yeah. I love what mid one just did there, throwing out the Fissure and just nuking down the wave.
Yeah.
He's got to protect his tower as much as possible, right?
You have to push the wave in when you're
Push
playing
back.
against a DK.
Nisha is going to be pushed into the Spirit Balls.
Oh.
That's going to be an easy one. And Puppy, they're not going to try and chase him down. They're just okay with killing Nisha over and over again. I was rather surprised to see the Luna, seeing as the Bat Rider being picked up means it's such an effective hero at being able to harass that very short-ranged Luna in the laning phase.
I think they just assumed that maybe Ogre enough was going to be okay.
Another jump in, Yapzor. Oh, the
much
full
damage.
Spirit Balls as well as the Brain Sap. That's going to be one down and continuing to fight. Evil
out
Genius
of
is
there,
going to go
Puppy.
for Puppy as well, who already had so many sticky napalm stacks. And Nisha is kind of sticking around thinking like, maybe I can do something, maybe I can help my allies out. But the truth is he's just going to be chased away from his tower. And Evil Geniuses, they don't need a tower hitter. They've just got a Siege Wagon push coming in. It's going to be a pretty easy safe lane tower.
This is really cool how they enabled the Bat Rider. Because normally Bat Rider has such a bad laning phase and you just get zoned out. But he's been trading quite a bit. And I think this is what Bat Rider needs. You just need a support that can help you trade minimum.
Yeah.
And he's done that. Even though you fed the first blood, if you're S4, it probably doesn't affect you too much. Everyone's known for a while now that if you're an offlaner and you get a lot of denies and you harass quite a bit, you'll just win through the regen trade.
Right.
And S4,
Well, I also love the Wisp as well with the Bat Rider.
yeah.
Right? It's like such a great turnaround hero, and it gives Bat Rider kind of everything he needs. It's not the duo you think of, but it gives him movement speed, it gives him extra sustain, gives him a little bit of slow and nuking power as well.
Yeah, I really like EG's lineup. There's like a twofold reason. I think they have a lot of different ways to enable the IO. I think the IO has very good targets to tether into. And more importantly, you have multiple ways to set up the relocate. I always hate when you only have this one way to set up the
Yes.
relocate, and then it becomes painfully obvious when you're moving around the map, and you want to play more of the vision game at that point. But
Yeah.
when you have two different ways, there's just more areas that you have to pay attention to.
Secret have to be like if Batrider is on map, they have to be afraid of the Dragon Knight initiation, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
It's not so simple as this hero is showing, meaning they can't start fights. Bottom lane, we're going to go for the Centaur kill. Not quite yet, level 6. Oh, this is just rough for Zai. Now mid one's going to come in. It's the Echo Slam. They're going to try and pop the Wisp real quickly, and he will be successful in that, but it's still a forced rotation down to the bottom lane and trading a support for core. Can't feel the greatest, but if they can get a little bit more, looks like top lane Fly. Well, he does have the Brain Sap. He's going to wake up Nisha, but Nisha has the extra movement speed as well as the nukes to be able to bring down Captain Fly.
It's actually a pretty big rotation by mid one, because he's almost got his Blink Dagger now.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what I said, if anybody's going to win the game for Secret, it's going to be this Shaker. He has to do a lot in this match because he doesn't have those two supports that can easily rotate around the map. Like, AA is not a very mobile hero, and his kill potential is limited to hitting that level 6.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it is a good hero for this game, but it is a bit odd.
It feels like a very common phrase for Secret in the last 2 or 3 years is, if anybody's going to win this game for Secret, it's going to be mid one.
I like their core setups a lot, though. I think they have 3 very strong core players.
On Secret?
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about their supports, but I think they have 3 very talented players on their side.
Nisha is the newcomer here. A boy who grew up playing Dota, is only 18, but has actually been playing pro Dota since he was 14.
Oh, nice fissure.
They are going to be able to get the Fissure out, but he had the Firefly, so is able to just go over the edge here.
Yeah, you see how mid one's moving, though. Like, he feels pressured to
Yeah.
make moves right now for his team. He feels as though he has to go around and do something. And I'd say he's correct.
Zai felt pressured too. They just cleared through a stack. He didn't want to let that happen, but now Zai's going to be chased down, and Arteezy will be able to get that kill to jump out from mid one. Can he
nice
get both
fissure.
these kills? What an Enchant Totem follow-up too. Gets them both. Mid one, making the plays that will keep Secret in this game for now.
Yeah, it'll just continue to be on him. Like, he's the only person that you really want to watch on the side of Secret because his other lanes haven't gone so well, and at mid lane, they're going to transition this into a tower push as CCNC gets the last hit onto the tower.
That's a classic wraparound right there. Dragon Knight pressuring the mid tier 1. Mid one's going to be able to
Another
blink ahead of
rotation.
that one. They're going to jump onto Fly at the same time. Manage to get the Nightmare out, so that'll stall up some of the stuns, but there's still enough. In fact, with S4 being hit underneath the tower, the relocate's coming in, though, with the lasso, and here comes a big ult from the Gyrocopter. Mid one knows he's dead. He's just trying to put out damage before he goes down. The tower will fall as well. Secret, another team fight that they don't really have much of a hope of winning.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty annoying tower for them to lose because I think with Earthshaker there and AA on their team, they expected to be able to keep that alive.
Mm-hmm.
But without that up, that's going to secede a lot of map control to EG. Like, if you're EG right now, you've taken the top tower, you've taken the mid tower, you've got options now. You can just stack up your Ancients. You can play very aggressively to their Ancients.
Yep.
You have the Roche play too. Like, they don't have the best Roche taking lineup, but most of the time when you make that move, it is available to you. And you could do it with Gyro plus DK with the Shadow Blade. You have enough DPS.
This pressure style, you see S4 really capitalizing on it with his item builds. Not going the drums or the early Blink Dagger, just straight up into Boots Travel.
So he's playing the MS game and being able to connect to the rest of his team. I think the global presence is really smart.
Yeah.
It makes it so that any sort of fight will be a 5-on-5 minimum for EG side with the relocate too.
Allows him to be able to pressure the side lanes a bit better. And let's be honest, with the kind of start that S4 had, he'll have a Blink Dagger in pretty good timing.
Yeah.
After the Boots of Travel.
What I'd really like to see EG do right now is connect to this bottom lane on CCNC side. That would really help you protect your jungle area. Because what you want to do in EG's case is just farm. You farm stacks with your Gyro, and eventually he gets BKB plus 1 item, and all of a sudden you're up on the Luna.
So why is it more important for them to go to bottom lane and secure their farm rather than the classic play of like pushing the tier 2 at top lane?
I think pushing the tier 2 at top lane is a bit greedy, because you know that Secret's going to want to fight everything.
Yeah.
With the lineup that they have. They have a very mid-game oriented lineup, especially with this core Earthshaker. They want to take as many fights as they can because their supports won't scale. Like, when you think about supports that scale, you also think about their ability to farm, and you don't really have easy ways to farm really on either side. But the thing about Io is that he's always going to soak XP and be part of kills. Like,
Sure.
that's the benefit that he has. Like, normally, top lane.
Fiend's Grip into boot to travel as well as the relocate. What a setup there. We were talking about the 2 cores being able to set up kills for Evil Geniuses wherever they go. But hey, the Bane is an excellent support to be able to get these sort of one-off pickoffs.
Yeah, multiple ways. And for EG, you want to just go back to farming after this happens. You just continuously do this as Yaps are now going to get caught off. And it's your inability for the 2 supports on Secret to clear the wave, and you don't really have the best team fighter catch.
Yeah.
So now you're in a weird position where you just want fights to start. So for
you
EG,
want
you deny them.
EG to run 5 heroes top because finally you could get mid 1 in a big 5 versus 5 team fight. But Evil Geniuses, they just want to kind of duck and weave, be all over the map, get these little pickoffs, and just allow Gyro and Whis to keep farming, right?
Exactly. And CCNC is making the move that we wanted him to make. He goes to this bottom tower. Because I think taking that tier 2 tower at top's really hard against Secret's lineup. You have to commit multiple heroes to that. I think against normal lineups, it would be the correct move. But I think against Secret's lineup in this game, it's baiting EG into a fight, so you pretty much want to avoid it.
They
and
drafted so much early game team fight, right?
Yeah, and by taking this bottom tier 1 tower and the mid tier 1 tower, you also get control of Secret's runes.
Right. Jump in onto the Gyrocopter, but here comes the Whis. The Echo Slam goes down. The Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. That'll finish off the Gyrocopter, and I think it just clipped Crit as well. He's going to be going down. Zai will double edge him to death, so they may lose their offlane tower. Again, as you said, they're going to concede a bit of map control, but at least Secret do manage to get a pretty big pickup for it.
I don't know how much that matters, though, if you don't take the bottom tower. Like, you're making a huge rotation with multiple cores, and you're not getting map control out of it. It's like now you have Roshan available, you've got Ancients, you have access to both the bounty runes. Like, these things add up and they matter.
Yeah, having this much map control this early on to the game, like just translating into so many bounty runes, that's just going to boost the net worth lead that Evil Geniuses already has, sitting at 7K.
Yeah. At the same time, I think Luna's very nice against Gyro. I think that's been a counter. Remember?
Yeah, the 1-to-1 sort of counter. Nisha reading this gank that's coming up actually goes into the trees and it pops his Eclipse, and it just doesn't matter. There's too many heroes here. Now they will be able to bring down Fly, but the Gyrocopter ultimate will slow both of them down. Zai is going to be able to hit the stomp onto the Dragonite. They can't really do damage to him though, and mid 1 as well as Zai. Oh, the relocate back. I thought that was a winning engagement there, but now maybe CCNC left alone.
Stayed.
They needed that Gyrocopter and Wisp. Secret see the opportunity to continue to try and force this fight, but the sticky napalms just keep them so slow. Now the stun coming out onto mid 1. They can't really stop it. Zai just can't get on top of these heroes without his Blink Dagger. Managed to hit the stomp onto the Dragonite. Yapzor, well, the bounce back of the Flame Break. Zai finally gets off a Stampede to be able to run away. But Secret, I mean, apparently they didn't even need the Gyrocopter Whisk. They just continued to kite the 2 of them. Now Puppey, he's going to be run down in the bottom lane unless somebody helps him. That'll be Nisha.
Yeah. And we should probably clarify why it's a good 1-on-1 counter against a Gyro. A lot of people think that Luna is just, he's a similar hero to Gyro, but also the fact that you farm a little bit faster. The Eclipse is nice. You naturally build BKB, which is very effective. You've got good move speed working against a Gyro. Like, these are all things that match up very well.
You just kind of do what Gyro does, just a little bit better past, like, let's say 25 minutes, right?
And the laning phase, I think, is really good for Gyro, but past that, I think it's so easy for Luna with very little items to just farm Ancients.
Yeah.
But that's where the Wisp changes things, because Wisp allows you to farm those Ancients just as quickly too.
Right. And it's going to dramatically change once we get to that level 15, which is where Paynex, or excuse me, I see Paynex, CCNC on the screen.
They're going to go for another relocate.
Yeah. Set up Dragon Tail. There's no one around from Secret, so this should be just a one-off.
Oh.
Where's the relocate? No? Nobody?
No.
Oh, they don't have relocate.
Okay. It's okay. Still a decent attempt.
Yeah.
And you get control of this top area.
Force them to TP away.
Yeah, that's where Secret, I mean, they don't represent a threat on the map is the problem. Like, they just keep playing this counter-reactive style where they allow EG to go into them, but EG's not really giving them straight-up 5-on-5 engagements, which I think is very frustrating.
Do you think that's something that they failed to set up in their draft in like their first 4 picks, or do you think it's just the strength of giving away with Gyrocopter?
I think it's both the strength of giving away with Gyrocopter, and I think they thought they addressed it with the AA, but it creates even more problems with you when you think that way. It's like you don't draft further heroes for it.
Yeah.
The way that they win this game, though, is for mid 1 to continue to just farm up be aggressive on the map. EG can mess up this lineup. It's very easy for Secret to win team fights. That's what Secret wants. They're like, please just run at us as 5.
S4 gonna be caught here, baited out, trying to go for a kill onto Yapzor.
They thought he was, I mean, 3rd time's a charm, right?
Yeah.
But you want, if you're Secret, to be able to just say, come at us into the fight. They're very good at, they have very good Fog heroes. Like AA, Ice Blast from Fog, over the top with Earthshaker, Echo Slam, and Centaur Stomp is going to kill most heroes.
Yeah.
Like there's no combination of items that you can get. If you get it off before BKB, you are going to die.
So team fights and primarily the initiation to start those team fights is kind of the big advantage for Secret here. But they haven't been able to lure Evil Geniuses into a significant team fight that Secret has actually won. Instead,
they're waiting for
these
Bad
little
Rider.
kills. So Luna not really online yet, can't really help them push down these towers.
I sort of think you just look for a pick off with S4 and have Dragon Knight connect, and then you go grab a major objective, like a Rocher tier 2.
Right.
This bottom tier 2 is going to take a lot of pressure as is. And if you're Secret, the game plan continues to just sort of stay the same, which is you farm and you play the timing where you allow them to try to take fights into you.
Okay.
You get your Luna her BKB, because I think BKB is a very good item against EG's lineup. They do have 2 BKB piercers, but the amount of physical damage that they have, for now anyways, is okay to deal with.
So they may have missed their first timing, but they still have a secondary timing, and just Luna's going to get big, and she's going to be really good for these team fights.
Yeah, and you're going to get Ags on Earthshaker too.
Right.
It pairs up very well. Whereas if you're Secret, now I think you start to look for just fight after fight, and you might get one here.
The smoke up. 3-man rotation here to bottom lane. Ogre's following them as well, but smoke is popped, and looks like
How greedy are you?
crit. No. They're going to farm some neutrals on their way through, but Secret are just so far behind.
Yeah.
Not going to be able to catch up. They're spotted by the ward.
See, this is the awkward part, is that they know they don't individually, aside from the Earthshaker, like they don't have easy ways to just get solo pickoffs, so they have to smoke for stuff like this. Because they know that any other fight is going to end up against you, because you've got a Boots of Travel on your Bat Rider, and you're not showing where your DK is. Like that part makes it really scary for Secret to take fights, whereas EG can just show up, do whatever they want. That's, I think, the benefit of having both a Shadow Blade and a Blink Dagger carrier on your team.
Ice Blast into the Roshan pit.
They should spot this.
They are going to be able to spot Fly. Now Fly's going to be jumped on. They are going to be able to blow him up almost immediately, but at the same time, we're going to have the initiated start, but Arteezy managed to get off his ultimate, just blows up everybody who tried to get in there, both Earthshaker as well as Centaur fall. Yapzor, no, he's not going to be able to get away either.
They relocate for that.
Relocated right on top of him.
And they know that Niche is there too. They can let him get away. They just killed 4 people. They're going to grab a tier 2 tower out of this. The mid lane tier 2 tower is also notoriously hard to take, just because there's multiple initiation angles.
Right.
I'm playing against an Earthshaker. I mean, once the Earthshaker committed with the blink in, he's dead.
Yeah.
EG's well aware of that. They all jump him. And you take away the majority of the teamfight damage right now, because Nisha, without his BKB, he's not going to fight on the Luna.
Yeah. I'm a bit surprised that they jumped S4 simply because they saw inside the Roshan pit. Like, they had an idea that EG was grouped up, right?
You mean Fly?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Jumping on Fly.
He's just also not a very good target to get on.
It's like a Bane.
I thought they saw the courier go up with the AI Ice Blast as well. Like, there were multiple ways. They jump on Fly, but...
So if, like, the way for Secret to win a team fight, who are they jumping?
You're probably jumping the Wish Gyro, and you're blowing them up instantly.
Managed to get S4 here. Ice Blast, 4 staff away. It's going to be okay for now, but now the Gyrocopter throwing it down is going to be able to catch the 2 of them. Ogre and mid-ones Earthshaker both end up falling. They're going to try and get more with S4. He's flying around, still has his lasso.
S4 even have... Oh, yeah.
And he does it. He does have Stampede, but there's... I don't think he outruns the Wish Gyrocopter. The Stampede's just not going to last long enough.
That's so cool.
And CC&C wasn't even bothering joining his team for that, the rest of that. He just went straight through mid.
Oh, this is smart.
Yeah.
Now you just go for the high ground.
He's already getting damage on the tier 3. The rest of his team is going to join.
Shaker
soon.
won't buy back. Even if Shaker had buyback, he won't, because he's going to be up so soon.
Yeah.
They're going to pop the fort, but they still have a mini timing window. They might even just be able to take this tower straight up.
Yeah, there's 3 seconds.
This is an
Zero
early.
Shaker comes back. Puppey's going to be able to get the stun on CCNC, but not enough to be able to delay that RTZ. Controlled up a little bit. They just don't have enough follow-up because mid one wasn't there yet.
I mean, they're
Still
thinking
trying
about
to
it.
TP in.
I feel like they should just back out, though. You've got complete map control. Roshan is yours for free now.
Yes. If you went back in and lost that team fight and you
Yeah,
gave up
you gave
Roshan
up
as a
Rosh.
result, you'd kicking yourself.
Whereas-
EG is in such a beautiful position.
And the thing about this Rosh is you don't have to rush it, because Secret now have to play very aggressively, and they have to play, like, you have to play both very aggressively if you want to get vision on the map or just check. You could AA Ice Blast, but that also removes an element of your team fight for the ensuing team fights.
Right.
And so you have to be really careful. Whereas if you also just sit inside your base and farm the waves that are coming in, EG will take advantage of that and farm out. Which is why I think like the Wisp Gyro opener, it's such a nice opener.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Nisha heading to that bottom lane. They have only taken that tier 1 off lane tower. Hoping to be able to get a little bit more tower bounty in this push,
Radiant's
but
bottom tower
Evil
is under
Geniuses
attack.
can either take a team fight there, or they can do Roshan,
Dire's top
or they could
tower
just take
is
the tier 2
falling.
top. That's also an option.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's
You're up
bottom tower is under
16,000
attack.
net worth over the enemy.
Dire's top shrine is
World
under
is kind of
attack.
your oyster.
I think a lot of people too, by the way, are gonna flame Secret and be like, oh, if they lose game 1, I can't believe they lost to a team with a stand-in. But I think CCNC, like I said, he was the first replacement for Sumail that they thought of. They play very similar heroes.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's hard to replace a guy like Sumail. Like Claire said at the Red Bull end, he's like, when you play against Sumail, he puts an element of fear into some of your players. But I think CCNC, he makes good rotations. He's a very solid, safe player, as they're just going to get
Pick
another
off.
pick
They're
off.
going to pull him so far back. Now Zion is going to end up on the right side of that Fissure, but he just can't get off the Stampede. There's too much chain stun happening. Mid one managed to blink himself away, so he'll be good for now, but look at S4 just
Careful of the
pressuring
clump up.
harder and harder.
You see that split immediately.
Yeah.
EG was like, yeah, we probably shouldn't just be...
Here comes the Ice Blast. Hoping to be able to hit the Gyrocopter, force-staffed him out.
Well, there's
Now
your
he
team
can
fight
return. You can't go into a team fight anymore.
There's your 4-position team fight contribution. When
Yeah.
you're behind like this, AA feels so bad. Which is why I wasn't a fan of this. Like, I think I was a little overly harsh from the get-go, whereas I felt like they just couldn't do anything. Because I do think that their ability to take team fights is very good. But EG really never gave them a straight 5-on-5,
Yeah.
let's battle. They always took the positional advantage. They were very patient in this game. This is probably the most patient game that I've seen EG play. I feel like their weakness as a lineup sometimes is they get overzealous with trying to get too much farm on the map. They're just trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants to participate. This game was very easy going for them. Even when they lost 2 heroes at bottom, like the move, like I said, wasn't really going to pay off for Secret, because you can't immediately transition into taking the bottom tower.
Right.
You watch EG, they lose 2 heroes. I think some people would accuse me of bias. They're like, oh, of course he's downplaying that. But the point is, if you rotate 2 heroes down, especially 2 cores, you kill 2 heroes, it's about what you get after that.
Yeah.
Because if you just lose a tower, you get 2 kills. That's pretty much an even trade. If anything, it's better for the 2 heroes that died to get the tier 1. Like, that's
Map
often
control,
the case.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
you
these
get map
objectives
control.
are important.
Because now you have to smoke up every single time you want to just get your bounty runes, because you don't know where vision is.
EG, they're going to go for a smoke of their own. S4 flying in deep into the jungle, and Secret may have an idea. They just can't get away fast enough. They're going to be able to pick up Nisha.
Yeah. With the
Oh.
BKBs pop, what do you just watch that happen?
Yeah. All of these stunners, magic damage dealers, all they can do is watch Nisha die. Now, the BKBs are going to be down for Evil Geniuses, so if Secret does buy back to try and defend, EG may back out just out of, you know, fear of throwing away the game.
Yeah. The scary part, though, is their ability to just do it again once they have BKBs. And Roshan, they haven't even taken... This is one of the few games where I've seen teams...
Go high ground without agents.
Yeah, without Aegis. Like, this is just how far ahead they feel they are. And as long as their positioning is good, you take away the opportunity for mid one.
Yeah.
And that's why you picked a hero like Centaur, so that you have a hero that creates chaos. But they've always been very good about jumping one of the 2 initiators. If you jump the Centaur, then you take away Earthshaker's ability to get off that hectic team fight Echo Slam. And if you get rid of the Earthshaker, well, then there goes the majority of your team fight anyways.
Right.
It's such a lose-lose position right now for Secret. This feels more like a draft loss. I actually feel like in some ways they overplayed their lineup. Like, Mid One played this game very well. He made a lot out of nothing.
Would you say a lot of this lineup predicated on Secret having, like, if they had won the laning phase,
Yeah.
right? If they had done better in the laning phase, then these early game, like mid-game team fighters would have looked pretty strong. They would have just been able to aggressively run at EG, but instead they actually lost the laning phase.
Yeah, I think they anticipated being able to win the mid lane a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And probably that top lane.
Which is where the Dragon Knight comes in as a very strong pick.
Yeah, the DK just sustains. Like, even though you get denies against him, that's the nature of the totem. He can just sit there. And eventually he knows that you're going to have to blink first because your other 2 lanes aren't going well.
Yeah.
That's also a thing that Crit did very well. Like, with his first rotation, I think he realized, all right, I've given bottom enough of a lead. They're going to try lane top. He makes that TP rotation in. He neutralizes the lane again. Sometimes when you try to go for the counter tri lane, you do it either a little bit too late, where your lane's already kind of been stuck and they've lost too many levels, or you do it a little bit too early and there's no action at all.
And you just become sap on the experience.
Yeah, so I think this game is more a combination of EG playing this very well, and then the draft was just a little bit too much to overcome.
Yeah. I mean, particularly, again, the Luna having such a rough laning phase, matched into a Bat Rider.
Yeah, all she's done is farm because I think that's her only option, really.
Yeah.
What else is she supposed to do in this game? I think they went for like 1 5-man smoke together, but even that was denied when they weren't able to find the Wisp or the Gyro because they weren't able to get vision out. And that's the other part is if you lose towers like that, it's so hard to get any sort of vision down. Normally there's some sort of trade, right? They take top tier 1 tower, you take bottom tier 1 tower. But
Well,
there was just too much that this Earthshaker had to do.
the upside for Secret is they only have to focus on protecting 1 lane now. And they will finally get that team fight, that big 5-on-5. Problem being they're down 21,000 net worth. That might not be good. And Aegis as well.
Yeah. I forgot, by the way, it's pretty late right now in the Americas. Shout out for everybody watching. And Kelby for his tweet.
All the EG fans, very
Yeah.
excited about a game 1. Highly doubt we're going to see this kind of game again in this series, though.
Sometimes,
Puppy has been stubborn on his drafts, but
yeah.
come on.
I think he probably thought this was going to be okay because I thought so too. Like, my first read was that it might be all right if the Earthshaker's able to do a lot.
Look at this jump in, coming in for the side with the smoke up, but TCC spotted him first, managed to get the initiation on it. Mid-wand, the BKBs go off, and there goes all of the damage, and Ice Blast ineffective, only really hitting the Gyrocopter. Crit actually survived through it all. He didn't need to survive for that team fight to be won. It just looks better for Evil Geniuses if they don't lose anybody. Finally, the Echo Slam comes in, and they do finish off the Wiz, but Mid-wand has to Aghanim Scepter and Chant Toda himself away. Arteezy doesn't even lose that Aegis, and that's going to be it for game number 1. A very dominant victory for EG.
Yeah.
The opening game.
You know what I
here in
think is
ESL
really
One
important
Hamburg.
too about this game 1? Is that I think it takes away a lot of pressure now from CCNC.
Yeah.
EG, Bulba said it last night. He's like, the scary part about playing for EG is if you mess up, everyone's going to blame. You have a lot of fans. There's just a ton of people.
Yeah. It's like you're the obvious punching bag. If anything goes wrong on the side of Evil Geniuses, and again, they're one of the most storied brands in Dota 2. There's going to be a lot of fanboys out there, right? It's like when you stand in for Na'Vi, you know, it goes right, you're the hero, you're going to get a lot of Na'Vi fans on your back, but if it goes wrong.
Yeah, it's like they're going to say stuff like, well, CCNC, like, why would you replace Sumail, as if he wasn't just doing them a favor and being a good guy and last second coming in. But that's going to do it for game number 1, EG in a dominant game 1.
And now for our panel to be able to break down Slaughter.
Indeed, thank you very much. Captain Blitz will return, of course, for game number 2. It is a best of 2 in the group stages, but congrats to EG. They've put 1 point on the board already with a thoroughly dominant display against Team Secret. Or was it all lost in the draft? Let's find out from our 2 panel members, Trent and Purge. On the way back, we kind of went, you kind of both went for Secret, but
What? No, dominant performance EG. Isn't that what we said? Didn't we say that?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
very
I think that's what we said. I
We'll
don't know.
record it now, and then
Yeah.
we'll just piece it back in for the
Perfect.
YouTube video.
Hope there's a really long delay. That'd be good.
Yeah. I mean, it was great performance from EG.
Okay, that's the thing too, is that like they absolutely destroyed them in every single team fight. And it wasn't just EG playing very well. There were a lot of mistakes from Secrets. Stuff that just looked straight up weird. Like maybe some rust and everything. Like I think the most like notable one was when like, that fight near the Roche pit in the trees where both the Shaker and the Centaur just jump this Bane. Because like the Bane's the first thing that pops out of the smoke. But clearly there's a lack of communication there because what's the point of that? Why are you both jumping on this position 5 Bane and the rest of EG's literally on the high ground above them? And the second that those two heroes, like, you cannot win fights if Centaur and Shaker are the first targeted.
I think they just thought that they had a free pickoff. They used Ice Blast to shoot Roche thinking, oh, they're Roshing. But then they saw that support when the Ice Blast came through. So like, oh, we can kill this guy really fast, no problem. But yeah, they were all standing there. I mean, it ultimately stemmed from the lanes being lost really hard. I think the Luna did stabilize the lane against Batrider in some ways, in that it did give them a lot of damage to be able to kill the Bat, and they killed him once or twice. But every other moment in that lane was like struggling to get last hits, because if they don't go all in to try to kill a Bat, he's still going to napalm you, he's still going to threaten, like harass and stuff like that. And that was like part of the reason that the game felt really hard, because Luna just didn't get as many last hits as she should have, and by like the 10-minute marker, Networth was way behind.
Right, and then on the other side of the map, you have the Eye on the Gyrocopter, which is obviously a combination we've seen a lot of over the past couple of months, but it is one that has tended to struggle a little bit in the laning phase, especially if you can actually target down that Io a little bit and burst him down. And so with the A and the Centaur, it was kind of like, okay, maybe there'll be enough damage, they can do something, but Yapso rotated out very early. He just kind of like left that lane. And so the Gyro's farming, doing very well, and they try and use a tri-lane to pressure top with the AA, but they do not slow down the Bat and the Bane enough.
I just feel like the Centaur was maybe a lane pick issue, because against the Centaur and or against the Io and the Gyro, Centaur can't do anything to protect himself. He's going to take rocket barrage damage. They're ranged heroes, and they're faster, so when he does go for a hoof stomp, they're just going to dodge it. It just seemed really hard for him to do anything about it.
And take a look at the scoreboard. As you can see, there's a number of good things on that scoreboard as far as EG are concerned. It's not Velasbro and NRP, of course, we'll fix that one. But CCNC, we talked about the fact that he was a stand-in, how many gel, did all right.
Yeah, exceptional. 5-0-6, pretty, I don't know, pretty quiet game for him in some ways, right? He's just mid versus an Earthshaker, and then this Io and Gyrocopter played extremely aggressive. Like I talked about during the draft that I was worried, and one of the reasons I like Secret is that all these games I've been watching with Io and Gyrocopter, because I've been doing a lot of these online matches and stuff, the Io and Gyro are very passive. They just want to, it feels like they're just looking at level 15 and nothing else in the game. They're just like, all right, when we get that Aghanims, things are going to be sick. Thank you so much, Io. You're the best hero ever. Not how they play this game at all. Extremely active. Crit and Arteezy were the same level the whole game. Just completely 1-1, which is perfect. And a lot of teams fail to do that with the Io. They give up way too much on the hero, doesn't get that experience gain, doesn't get the tether, yada, yada, yada. I think they played almost flawlessly for EG.
On the other side of things, Kevin, poor game from Secret as well. I mean, Centaur not farming, Luna not able to farm very well. I mean, at one point, the IO was ahead of both of them.
It was just draft issues, I think. Like I said, the Centaur was up against ranged heroes that are already fast and have tether, so it's very hard for him to contest last hits. They have other damage sources than just right-clicking, so return doesn't even make him that safe. And then A also needed some kind of like lockdown to stabilize his lane, but if they put A with Batrider, then they weren't gonna, or with the Luna, then they're gonna lose against the Batrider anyways. So it's like they contributed their one like setup kind of tanky hero with the Luna to stabilize her. It wasn't good enough, so then they just lose everything cascade. The one lane that went really well was mid one, and that his lane went well, and then he transitioned it into a lot of good kills, but the delay to getting Ags afterwards was pretty long. So it was like they just needed to win like a little bit more of a lane, and then maybe they could have stabilized a bit, but it was still bad.
There's a problem there too when you're relying on the Earthshaker. The Earthshaker mid is actually very exciting. It's something we've seen very rarely pulled out, but when it does come out, it looks like so good. And you're like, yeah, this hero like usually struggle to get this Blink Dagger, and then finally he comes online and he just blows everybody up. But you're on a timer. Even when you get that Blink so early, you can only Echo Slam, so often. And all that time during the downtime, they can't even fight, and they're just continuing to farm on the side of EG, and the game quickly spiraled out of control.
Tough game, tough loss for Secret. We're going to go and pay some bills right now, but when we come back, don't go too far away, because EG versus Secret, game number 2. That's next.